Welcome once again to Jazz Lockdown, the program that puts our regular panellists of Pete Long, Alan Barnes and Alex Garnett to the test. You are invited to donate as little as £1 towards each show, which will be equally divided between the contributors, with 50% of the total amount going to Macmillan Cancer Support, by following the PayPal link below. Chaired by Alyn Shipton, this episode's special guest is Gareth Williams.
Welcome to the first show in the third series of Jazz Lockdown. I'm very glad to say that today we have a very special guest with us, Gareth Williams. Hi, Gareth.
Yeah. Hi.
And the regular panellists, back as usual, we have Alan Barnes.
Hello there.
We have Alex Garnett.
Hello again.
And we have Pete Long.
Good afternoon.
Now, could be any time of day for you. This is a streaming show.
It's always afternoon in Croydon, though. Always sunny, always afternoon. Lovely.
Yes, Croydon. I forgot the Croydon effect.
Yeah.
Right, well, Pete, we'll start with you, actually. This is the round called Something Old, Something New. And we're going to start with the fact that on Ellington's last tour in England in 1973, I'm sure you were there, but who was playing tenor alongside Harold Ashby and Paul Gonsalves?
Harold Minerve.
That was the previous tour. That was 71.
Oh, it was some young kid, wasn't it?
It was.
Whose name I can't remember.
Anybody know? Percy Marion.
Wow. Name.
But you're dead right. You know, he was the young kid. So, bonus point. In the 1973 rhythm section, when they came here for that last tour, was Duke on piano, Joe Benjamin on bass. Who was the drummer?
Speedy Jones.
He just left. He was also here in 71.
Oh, I don't know then.
There's somebody called Quentin White.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you should get this one. When the Ellington Band was here in 71, the trumpet section included a player who'd later come over here with the Basie Ghost Band when it was led by Thad Jones, but previously he'd been a key member of the Gil Evans Orchestra and the Charles Mingus Sextet. Which trumpeter was that?
Well, hang on, 71. It was Cat Anderson, wasn't it? Mercer.
Yep. There's somebody I didn't even know had been in the Ellington Band until I saw a little bit of video from that 1971 tour, and I thought, oh.
No, I'm going to lead off season 3 with an unbroken duck. I can't remember.
Anybody else know?
Johnny Coles.
Yep, that's the right answer. Well done, Alan. Well, Alex, your turn now. To whom, after he'd experimented with some of Archie Shepp's ideas, did Rory Scott say, "I don't play free, I play very cheaply, but I don't play free"?
Oh, gosh. Yes, I should know. I can't remember. What is this? Another tenor saxophone player, was it?
Yep.
Was it Dexter Gordon?
It was. Well done.
Ah.
Yeah, that was his quip to Dexter in the So, which West Indian flute and alto player, accompanied by Terry Shannon, Jeff Klein and Phil Seaman, appears on the album Zoot Sims at Ronnie Scott's from 1961?
West Indian. Is it Harold McNair?
Yeah, well done. Was Harold. And Harold recorded with, this is your bonus question, Harold recorded with two members of the Ornette Coleman Trio on the album Affectionate Fink. Any idea who they were? They're the same trio that appeared at the Fairfield Hall with Ornette.
I'm not quite sure who. I don't know the members. Is it Jimmy Garrison?
No.
No, I can't guess.
Anybody else know those two?
Charlotte Moffat.
Yep.
And who? Oh, it's her name like Iden, but it's not Iden.
It's very similar, but it's got a few more syllables.
Eikenden.
Oh, very near. I think I'll give you a half point now. It's David Eisenson.
Oh, wow.
Right, Gareth. Whose band got sampled in a Flip Fantasia?
Whose band got sampled?
I beg your pardon. Whose island got sampled in a Flip Fantasia?
Cantaloupe's Island.
Yeah, absolutely. So is Herbie's island. Which piece by Herbie, appearing on the Future Shock album, on its own won a Grammy and 5 MTV Video Awards? You could say it really took off.
Was it Taking Off?
No, it was Rocket.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
In 2002, Herbie put a band together to celebrate Miles and Coltrane under the title Directions in Music. Who played the trumpet and tenor saxophone in that band?
Brecker played saxophone.
Yep.
Roy Hargrove played
Yeah,
trumpet.
absolutely. Well done. Alan, who had a sweet time in Glasgow remembering Benny Carter?
What's he talking about? Remembering Berry. Well, he wrote a Glasgow suite, didn't he, Benny Carter?
Yeah, so who recorded it?
Oh, I did.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the right answer.
Full name, please.
With Kenny Matheson and the
That's
Scottish...
a tough one. Yeah, that's right. It was the,
So Alan, who was biding his time before he released a solo piano album in 2017?
oh, no, I know this. Dave Newton.
No.
Biding His Time. Why do I know that title?
Well, the album's actually called Biding My Time.
Yeah.
He was twiddling his thumbs for a long time like Pete before he actually got down to doing the solo album.
It's somebody I know, is it?
It is, and you ought to think back to where that last suite was based.
Oh, Glasgow. Oh, Brian Kellogg. I've got the record.
Brian Kellogg, well done.
Bloody hell, I played it last week.
That's too long ago.
Here's your naughty question, your bonus question, Alan.
Right.
Who played alto and clarinet on several of Benny Carter's London discs in the 30s and led his own swing band on several record sessions in 37 and 38, using many of the same musicians?
Harry Hayes.
That wasn't the name I was looking.
Jock. Is it somebody Jock? Jock somebody?
No.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Think where your artificial turf is. And who
Official turf?
Yeah, and who you might need to tend it.
Ah,
Well, I've forgotten what the question is now.
Who played alto and clarinet on several of Benny Carter's London discs and led his own band at the same time? It's the clue is the alto and clarinet bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't think.
Pete's got this one.
is it Freddie Gardner?
It was.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right. Now, this is the Gareth personal round, Gareth. So this is the one where you are up against, this is all you on your own. You're up against the other guests on the series, and we ask you a set of questions. And in Series 2, several of our guests actually managed to get 10 out of 10 on this. So we'll see how you do. So in the mid-90s, Gareth, you're the member of a band led by Arnie Somergy. What was the name of the band?
Big City Bass.
Yep. Who wrote a tribute to Alan Skidmore's tribute to John Coltrane?
Ian Bellamy.
Yeah, well done. Which bass player was bowled over by Ian Bellamy's anorak?
Which bass player was bowled over?
Yeah, just think of the field.
Well, there's nobody called Eric Silly Mid-Off.
No, this might be somebody who slipped into a different profession from time to time.
Bass player.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give you this one. It's
Yeah.
Orlando Fleming. 'Cause
Well, he was the bass player on the album, yeah.
yeah, but he also played professional cricket for a while.
He played a few games for Somerset Seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got you, yeah.
Okay. Which Grammy Award-winning producer of Shirley Horn albums joined forces with Claire Martin before his untimely death in 2004?
Joel Siegel.
Yep, well done. In 2003, Jim Mullen was live in Glasgow with Gary Husband on drums. Who was on bass?
Mick Hutton.
Yeah, well done. Which singer named himself after two streets in Llandudno?
His name was Harcourt Meadows.
Yeah, going to explain the connection?
It was my grandfather who had the rather sort of ubiquitous name in North Wales of Richard Williams, and his agent decided he should rename himself to be more marketable, and happened to be walking along the junction of Harcourt Road and Meadows Gardens, so it became Harcourt Meadows.
It's a great name.
Yeah,
Right.
it was close. It was a close one because he could have been called Road Gardens, but
Yeah, well, could have done. Whose claw was part of the name of a band you once played in when you were very young?
Oh my God. I don't know where you found that. Satan's Claw.
Yeah, well done. Which guitarist is the Aria Pro 2 guitar named after?
Herb Ellis.
Well done. I think you have one of those, don't you?
I used to.
Yeah. Which trio might give you a shock?
Well, I guess that would be the Gareth Williams power trio, as it was once called.
Yes. And finally, who led a trio with Daniel Fredriksson and Martin Sjostad at the 2015 EFG London Jazz Festival?
That would also be Gareth Williams.
Well done.
Changing his name. Sorry.
9 out of 10. Well done. Puts you in a very strong position for this series. Right, now this is an entirely experimental round here in that in a quiz about music, we so far actually had no music in it. So the idea here is that you're going to hear the introduction to a song, and we called the round Name That Lockdown Tune. So you'll hear a bit of introduction, and then maybe you can tell me what the tune is, and then we'll play a few more bars so everybody knows what's coming up. And Alyn, I thought we'd start with you. So you're going to get 12 seconds or so of this tune. So I've just got to get back to the right place.
Well, it's Louis.
Nope.
No. It's not When You're Smiling, is it?
No, it's actually a tune that you and I have played in this arrangement rather a lot.
Oh, Christ.
Shall I play the next bit?
Go on then.
In your backyard.
Oh, Clayton.
Yeah, it's Buck Clayton and Billie Holiday. I'll give you the half for Buck Clayton. There you go.
Yeah.
Right, your second one. You're going to get a few
Me
seconds.
again?
It's you again. You get 2 each.
All right, okay.
Second one, you're going to get 16 seconds of vocal. Which record is this, and what's the tune?
Every day was blue day, till you love me true. Say all my cares have gone away.
God, I actually know that, and I can't. Oh, hold on. It's not the Rhythm Boys, was it?
It was the Rhythm Boys.
So it's a Paul Whiteman.
It is. So you get half a point for that, but I want to know what it is.
It's not When I Left My Sugar Out in the Rain, is it?
No, that's a rather damp answer. It's it refers to a particular day of the week.
From Monday On.
From Monday on. Well done. You get the other half for that. Right, we're going to move on. So now let's see how we do here. Pete, this is a slightly difficult one. You're going to get 14 seconds of the beginning of a tune, but hopefully you might know this version of it.
That's the metronome poll winners with Frank Sinatra doing Sweet Lorraine.
Absolutely spot on. I think you should get a bonus point for that.
Nat Cole on piano accompanying Frank. It's every booking agent's dream.
Yeah, because just immediately after that we
Just found joy. I'm as happy as a baby boy.
But well done. Right, let's see how you do with the next one. This is a piano trio from a little bit more recently than that, but see how you get on. What's the tune and who are we listening to?
I can take it. What is it? Oscar Peterson playing "Don't Get Around Much Anymore"?
It's somebody trying to sound like the Oscar Peterson trio, but I got into trouble on an earlier edition of this for saying that he dabbled in classical music.
So Dudley Moore.
No, it's Andre Previn.
Ah,
And it's actually going to turn into Sweet Georgia Brown. Right. Gareth, your turn. Let's see how you do on the beginning of this one. You've got 21 seconds of introduction coming up now.
I'm going to need a clue.
Somebody we've already mentioned.
Well, Herbie.
Yep. See, half point for Herbie. Alex knows what it is.
I think so. I don't know. Is it Fat Albert Rotunda?
It's from that album. It's Wiggle Waggle off that album.
Fun. Yeah.
oh, Wiggly Waggly. Nice.
Wiggly Waggle. Not quite. I wasn't close, but I thought it's from that. Yeah.
Well, no, you got the right album, so that's fine. So, Gareth, your second one, this one should be a piece of cake compared to that. You get 15 seconds of this.
No, I don't know that. I'm sure somebody does.
Alex got his hand up first.
I think Alan knows as well. It's Bobby Timmons, isn't it? That there.
Yeah, it's that there.
I think Alan knows that as well. I was getting the osmosis from Alan's.
Yeah, he's just above you on my screen, so...
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Right, Alex, this one's yours. We've got...
This is up for grabs, guys.
You should know this introduction. Let's see.
Man. Was that a trio record?
It's a quartet record, and the soloist is just about to come in. And it's one we've actually discussed on this show before.
Oh, is it Coleman Hawkins?
No, try one of the other tenor saxophonists that we've talked about on the show.
Oh, Ben Webster?
No.
Oh, well, I'm out of luck. Go on.
Well, if I told you you'd just been listening to Bud Powell, who do you think it might be?
Oh, is it Bird, was it?
No.
It's oh, sorry.
Come on.
Go on, Al.
Dexter.
Yeah, it's Dexter. And what is it?
Oh.
It's off Our Man in Paris, isn't it?
It is.
So it's not Willow Week for me. It's Stairway to the Stars.
It is. Full marks. Yeah. Well done.
Oof.
Right, now this one, Alex, this one is actually a really difficult one. But you're going to get a whole minute of introduction and just see if you can work out what they're about to play.
Wow. What tune are they about to play? Is it Tindeo?
No. It does have a connection with the last one. There is a sort of Parisian connection to it.
Oh.
That's where it was recorded, and there is a sort of French connection to the tune.
Wow. Well, it's not Parisian Thoroughfare.
No.
No, I'm totally blind guessing here.
Anybody else know? I'll play the next little bit.
It's not Johnny Griffin with Ahmed Jamal, is it?
It is Ahmed Jamal. It's actually George Coleman, but it's
Okay.
the Olympia session with the two.
Autumn Leaves. I didn't get it. No. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of similar to the Miles intro with the cannibal in a way. It's got that sort of flavour to it. I should have get that.
That's the trouble with Ahmed. You know, you get these quotes that pop up, and there you go. Right. Well, after the horrors of that round, let's move on to Just a Lockdown, where each of you has to talk for a minute without hesitation, deviation, or the other thing. And
I nervously ring my bell.
Yeah, so we've got the bell, we've got the sound of a lightweight boat coming into harbour, we've got Alan's mouthpiece, and we've got Pete's well-known tutor. So, we're going to start with you, Alan. If you could talk for a minute. The subject is going to be audiences eating food. So could you talk for a minute on that subject, starting now?
I remember being at the Keswick Jazz Festival, and an ex-postal worker who was a big jazz fan sat at the front with his legs apart.
Repetition of jazz.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's a challenge.
Oh, Pete.
You have 50 seconds starting now.
Audiences eating food depends on the context of the gig. For example, at Ronnie Scott's, it would be expected for the audiences to eat food because it is a rest.
Audiences?
It's in the title.
It's in the title.
Oh, beg your pardon. Beg your pudding.
Okay, so,
No, and I was spinning it out.
Hair trigger.
right. Here you go, Pete. Carry on. Audiences eating food. Starting now.
It depends. Oh, damn, I'm just repeating myself.
Right. Successful challenge.
Repetition.
How did you guess? Go, you're sharp.
Gareth, your turn. Would you like to pick it up, please? Starting now.
Audiences eating food is a common phenomenon at many venues due to the fact that they are restaurants and clubs and full of...
You just put him out of his misery.
What would it be, Alan?
Hesitation. Quite a lot of it forgiven before we came in.
Yeah. I thought that was a pregnant pause. Anyway, Alan, if you'd like to carry on, please. You have 16 seconds starting now.
As I was previously saying, this gentleman was eating a great big meat pie, and I said over the microphone, I wish you wouldn't mind not doing that, because, oops, doing that.
Repetition of doing.
Yes.
Yeah, and that.
You have 4 seconds starting now.
Anthony Kerr particularly hates it when the audience eats while he's playing.
Well, that wasn't so difficult. That's a really good one. You get the extra point, Pete, for speaking while the dinosaur squeaks. Pete, it's you first this time. So this is one dear to all our hearts. Could you speak on the missing page of the pad, starting now for 1 minute?
The missing page of the pad, for those who don't know what that phrase means, refers to a instance where a band is playing from a library or pad and there is a page missing. And so normally the band has had no time to rehearse. Thank you. Band, yeah, good.
Yeah, well done. Off you go, Gareth, starting now.
The missing page of the pad is often referred to as something that Gareth knows nothing about because I have no idea what it means. And I wish somebody would buzz now so that I don't have to continue because I have no idea what I am talking about. I'm very happy to verbulate. Go on.
Deviation.
Yeah.
There are a few repetitions in there as well. So, deviation would do you. Alex, well done. If you'd like to carry on, please, on the missing page of the pad, you've got 20 seconds.
The missing page of the pad is a treacherous thing, especially when you're involved in a big band situation. You might find that once you're in the midst of a tune, all of a sudden you come upon a whole chunk of the score that is missing. In order to maintain your professionalism...
Oh, sorry. It went off in my hand.
Alex, do continue. You get the extra point there for an unsuccessful challenge.
Don't worry, he's only getting me back.
Oh, you just spoke over the... that one. Yeah, I think the worst missing page of the pad I ever had was the two of the ink spots. And we were doing Whispering Grass, and we turned over. There's nothing there on the bass pad at all. And the guitarist, whose main job was just to go boom, 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 boom at the beginning of each tune, sidled over and started saying A flat, G7. And I said, how did you know? He said, oh, that's been missing 40 years.
That's lovely. The missing page of the pad in the Basie band turning up without the pad. That was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Still managing to do the gig.
Well, like that, we were talking about the Gillespie band arriving in Paris and having no music at all. That was amazing. As Pete said, they strung the tunes out a bit. It was still a fantastic concert. Right, Gareth, your turn. Would you like to expatiate, please, on the subject of electric pianos for a minute, starting now?
Electric pianos became popular in the late 1960s with the Wurlitzer EP200 and the Fender Rhodes. They solved a few problems of heaviness with the real instrument and created a new soundscape which was investigated by people such as Bill Evans, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, and so on. They employed electromagnetic impulse resonance facility.
I want you to carry on. I'm
Carry on as well.
What's your challenge, by any chance?
That was a crumble, wasn't it? Bless him, a hesitation.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I was
Well, anyway, that's today's record so far, Gareth. You took for 39 seconds. So, Pete, you've got 20 seconds starting now.
Electric pianos these days come in a whole variety of forms and ways, because as well as the Wurlitzer and Fender Rhodes, the two original proper electric pianos, there are a whole slew of synthesizers which go under that name. And so it is possible to turn up and in your rhythm section they'll...
That's pretty good. Only two people talking on that, and nearly half a minute each. So well done.
Wow.
Right. Fast when you're on the wire, doesn't it?
Alex, it's your subject now, which is one dear to your heart. It's playing requests. So would you like to talk about playing requests starting now?
Playing requests is a bit of a double-edged sword, I find. In my business, obviously, as a musician, I would like to play what I would like. And unfortunately...
Yep.
Oh!
Pete.
No, it's Alan.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Repetition.
Yes.
Repetition of light.
Yes. Too many lights.
Can you hear? Can everybody hear this?
Very much, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I can nearly feel that.
Yes, it's resonance.
Well, Alan, you pick this one up, but we'll have a serious listen for the siren entering port, just in case it goes off again. Right, Alan, starting now, please.
I've actually forgotten. Christ, what's the subject?
Hesitation.
Hesitation.
No, that's just a lapse of memory. Give us a chance.
No, go on, Alan. Go on, I got it. I'll hand it back.
Go on. You have it.
Alex has picked that one up. Alex, carry on with playing requests now.
There was once a fantastic anecdote I heard about the great band leader, Bert Ambrose. A punter sat in the audience, decided to play it big, and asked him for a request and a £5 note.
Asked? No. There was a repetition of something, wasn't there?
I didn't spot more than one ask.
Okay, go on then.
Yeah, carry on.
As I was saying, he asked him for a request and sent up a £5 note to the bandstand. A little bit later...
Repetition of £5.
Yes.
Oh!
Right, Pete, carry on the playing request starting now.
Many years ago, I was subject to that most horrible ordeal for jazz musicians where we have to go and play at somebody's wedding because we've been briefed that they want some syncopated music from the 20th century under the J name. And of course, it's the last thing they want. So predictably, we were playing the one.
Gareth.
Repetition of want.
Yeah.
Yes, well done. You have 1 second starting now.
Start, Gary.
Off you go.
Well, I would like to talk about...
Fantastic. Right.
I was going to tell you the punchline to that Ambrose story is actually
Oh
quite...
yeah.
Basically, someone who's trying to act big in the audience with his missus said, "Oh, look, watch this," and sent a request up in one of those big old £5 notes to the stand, and it came back with the request and a expletive message and the fiver wrapped up in a £10 note.
Very good.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. We've now reached the final quickfire round, which is the shoot-off to see if we can establish the winner of today's show. At the moment, we have some very interesting positions. We actually have Alyn and Pete tying in the lead. Alex very close behind, and Gareth very, very close behind that. So everything to play for. So let's start now. So pianist Horace Parlan became a victim of polio as a child, leaving him partly crippled in which part of the body?
Right hand.
Gareth,
You have to buzz, right?
yeah.
Oh no, just jump in, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that, Gareth. And actually, yeah, in future, just jump in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Right. A drummer's left-hand position in jazz is known as the orthodox grip. What's the other name for that grip?
Cross grip.
Not the one I'm looking for.
Matchstick.
No, it's the traditional grip.
Traditional. Yeah.
Whereas trad jazz was formed in Britain as a revival of American Dixieland jazz, which city was synonymous with the revivalist jazz of Muggsy Spanier and Jimmy McPartney?
San Francisco.
Pardon?
San Francisco?
Gareth?
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Muggsy did play in San Francisco, but he was definitely Chicagoan. The Chicago Jazz Festival was formed after a series of tributes in Grant Park. The first had 10,000 attendees in 1974. In honour of whom?
Gene Krupa.
Nope. Just died the previous year?
Well, Armstrong died in 71, so it's not him.
No, it was Duke Ellington.
Oh.
Which American president presented Duke Ellington with the Medal of Freedom?
Nixon.
Yep, well done. The Freedom Suite was an album by Sonny Rollins with Max Roach on drums. Who was the bass player?
Oscar Pettiford.
Well done. Which giant of the alto saxophone did Pettiford discover one night in a jam session?
Cannonball Adderley.
Yep. I thought you said you knew nothing about jazz, Gareth. You're doing really well. It's fantastic. Cannonball formed a quintet with his brother Nat after 3 years with which band leader?
Kenny Clark.
No. Cannonball had been with this band leader for 3 years before he formed the band with his brother.
Miles Davis.
Yeah, Alyn was in there first. Cannonball recorded 6 iconic albums with Miles during that period. One of them came out under Adderley's name with Miles as a sideman. Which one was it?
Something else.
Oh, that was I think everybody got that one. Points all round for that. One of the tracks from that recording, One for Daddy-O, was composed by which trumpeter?
Natalie.
Yeah, Alyn was very, very, just a whisker ahead of Alex there. Who composed the lyrics to Nat Adderley's work song?
Eddie Jefferson.
Brown Jr.
Alyn, you're right, Oscar Brown Jr. Which Max Roach album did Oscar Brown write lyrics for in 1960 to mark the centennial of emancipation?
Oh, it's the one with Abbey Lincoln, is it?
It is.
And it's
Drive
Freedom
Them.
Now.
That's the second part of it. It's We Insist the Freedom Now suite.
Right.
I think you get half a point for that.
Okay.
In 52, Roach co-founded a label with Charles Mingus. What was it called?
Debut Records.
Yeah, Alex, well done. Recording on Debut, Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie recorded Jazz at Massey Hall, but when it came out, for contractual reasons, Parker was...
Charlie Chan.
Yeah. Alex got that one. The organisers of that concert originally wanted a pianist who wasn't Bud Powell to perform with the band. Who was
Eddie
it?
Castano.
Yep, well done. Recording Lenny's own quintet with Lee Konitz in 1955, who played bass in the band?
Peter Ind.
Yeah, well done, Alyn.
Sorry, I couldn't find Peter Ned in your contacts.
My Siri has just kicked in. Sorry.
Very good. Where did Peter Ind study classical harmony from 1946 to 8?
Royal Academy.
No, you've got three more guesses in that period.
Trinity.
Yep, well done, Pete.
Lucky.
Who's the current head of jazz at Trinity College?
German bloke. And Collar.
Anders.
Who said Hans Koller?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
Yeah. Hans Groiner is a spoof character created by...
Harry Goldings.
Yeah, I think Gareth got there first. Who plays drums in Goldings' organ trio?
Bill Stewart.
Yep, well done. Which saxophonist and future collaborator did Stewart study under at music
Joe
college?
Levano.
Yep. In the late 90s, Levano formed Saxophone Summit with Michael Brecker and which
Dave
others?
Liebman.
Yep. And finally, Liebman's group project Quest had Billy Hart and Ron McClure in the rhythm section, along with
Barak.
Richie Barak, correct. Right. Well, that's a very interesting end result. So tying in third place, we have Alex and Gareth, each of whom have 11.5 points. And in second place, we have Pete with 12. And in first place, we have Alan with 12.5.
Hey,
Oh!
take that.
Blimey, so that was... a 1 point separates everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the closest we've had for a very long time. So fantastic. Thanks very much to everybody for doing this. And thanks to all of you watching and donating for your support for Macmillan Cancer Relief. A big thank you to our special guest, Gareth Williams.
Yeah.
Very much.
So important. The only one who's allowed to wear a hat today.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to say cheerio from Alex,
Ta-ta.
from Pete,
See you later.
and from Alan.
Bye-bye.
And from me, Alyn Shipton, goodbye as well.
That was Jazz Lockdown, a series of programs devised by Clark Tracy and presented by Alyn Shipton, with Pete Long, Alan Barnes, and Alex Garnett, with special guest Gareth Williams. You are invited to donate as little as £1 towards each show, which will be equally divided between the contributors, with 50% of the total amount going to Macmillan Cancer Support by following the PayPal link below. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to your company next time.